Hey everybody, so exciting episode today. Today I've got all these mini rigs out, so I was going to go through those, as well as I want to show you some never before seen Baby Yoda products. Well, you may have seen them, but most of you probably haven't, because I haven't seen them on the Baby Yoda fan page or anything like that, people posting them. But also I wanted to point out something funny that I learned today. I was just scanning through TikTok, and that's kind of like one of those Instagram-y type apps where people post videos and then they're dancing or talking about stuff or just showing crazy stuff or whatever else. But this guy was talking about Star Wars, and it's a big, huge tie-in from Episode 6 and Episode 9. So Episode 6 is, is Return of the Jedi. And Episode 9, of course, is The Rise of Skywalker. But essentially, in the novelization of The Rise of Skywalker, when Rey's having her basically final confrontation with the Emperor, in the book, the Emperor alludes to the fact that he had had a prior chance to take over a Force user, referring to Luke Skywalker in Episode 6 when they're having their final duel. And Luke Skywalker, goes kind of dark side for a second and loses his temper, goes to snag his lightsaber from Palpatine, and he's about to strike him down. And Vader stops it, puts a saber in front to stop Luke from killing the Emperor. Well, why would Vader do this when he was in conflict? Maybe he was trying to protect the Emperor. But essentially, what the Emperor is talking about in Episode 9 is he needs Rey to go to the dark side for him to be able to transfer his essence into Rey's body. And in Episode 6, Luke goes to the dark side and is about to strike him down, and Vader stops him. And is it because Vader knew that the Emperor could take over Luke's body then? So basically, Vader prevented Luke from becoming the new Emperor by stopping Luke from killing the Emperor. So that was a pretty cool tidbit that I kind of discovered, and that was pretty sweet. But other than that, yeah, there's some crazy new Baby Yoda products that I found out. And this is actually a package that one of these things came in. My lady actually ordered me some of these, and this is actually from a company called Me Undies. Not a sponsor of me, but they're a sponsor of many of the podcasts I listen to. But Me Undies, they're supposed to be the most comfortable underwear in the world. And they made these Baby Yoda undies. I haven't tried them on yet. I wanted to keep them nice and clean to show y'all before I actually put them on. But there's some super cute graphics of Baby Yoda, if you can make it out. Front and back. So a whole bunch of love for Baby Yoda. And some other cool things I came across from the Star Wars store. I found that they had these keychains. Here's, I don't know if you can see a little Baby Yoda keychain. That one's super cute, so I had to pick that up. I might put these, actually I'll probably put these in the giveaway once I do the 500K giveaway for the Baby Yoda fan page. So make sure you like and subscribe here to be able to partake in that. And also I picked up from the Star Wars store some of these cute little adorable Baby Yoda stickers. They've got a ton of those right now at the moment. But I like to, certain few ones for certain reasons. Like this is, Queel, I have spoken. And here's old Baby Yoda about to snack down on a little froggy. He's saying, mmm. And then this one was awesome. Suka! For everybody that has seen The Mandalorian, you know what Suka is, because, yeah. And there's, of course, little Jawas there at the bottom. Alright, so now to these mini rigs. So, back in the 70s, Hasbro had these crazy contracts through Star Wars, where basically they kind of took liberties, and they could basically make anything they want. So they made some stuff that was never in the movies. But they did make some stuff that was in the movies, like this radar laser cannon. And this is my radar laser cannon, my Return of the Jedi box. But this one is actually sealed, brand new. And the box is basically like, when you went to the store and found it on the shelf, this is the condition that you would have found it in. Just brand new, unopened condition. But I do have a open one somewhere. I have the box. I think I set it. Oh, nope, it's still right here. And this is the same cannon, but this is an Empire Strikes Back box. So in perfect condition, this thing would be worth more than the Return of the Jedi box. Because, of course, Empire Strikes Back stuff packaged is worth more than the Return of the Jedi stuff just because it's older. It was less produced. But yeah, so we'll bust this open here and show you the functionality of this radar cannon. And essentially, here it is in all of its glory. And you push this little button on the back, Oh, it explodes, so it's got the action there. So that was pretty cool. And then moving on, we got Empire Strikes Back MLC3. Now this I always thought was kind of a cool vehicle, just because the whole little dome thing. I always kind of liked it when, like old Hot Wheels and stuff like that, put the little dome on there. Just because it's a little unorthodox. You don't usually see in real life things in vehicles with a little dome. But I always really thought that was a cool vehicle. It doesn't really have very many features, I think, just the top that lifts up. It doesn't really do anything spectacular. It rolls. It's got wheels on the bottom. Actually, I have two of them. This was the loose one that I had before that brand new one. And of course, it's missing the dome. But I have an old B-Wing pilot in there. Or not old, but a 90s B-Wing pilot. So yeah, so I got two of those things. One of them I used to display in my Empire Strikes Back display that you have seen in previous videos. And yeah, moving on. Oh yeah, another sealed one that I have, brand new in package, is the Vehicle Maintenance Energizer. And this was basically the most pointless thing that they ever made, because it was essentially just this weird little, if you can see it real close. But yeah, it didn't do much. It just had these tentacles that come off, and it kind of spins a little bit, I guess, but yeah, it was just kind of a weird little accessory that I guess you would just kind of put up in your like little battle zones or wars, and just kind of make fun that it would do something. But yeah, moving on from there, let's go to the AST-5, and this was kind of a super random vehicle. Return of the Jedi AST-5. And let's open it up here. And this just kind of had a weird function. I mean, it just kind of looks like it would be like kind of a weird speeder of sorts. And this is how it looks, as you bust it out. Just kind of like a weird thing like this. Like, what is that? Why is that? But I guess it just kind of like holds out like that and kind of stands up, and the gun's pointing forward, and then you can just kind of set it. I guess set it and forget it, or whatever else. But yeah, I guess that's all it did. I guess things back then didn't really need to do much. The cockpit opens up, you can put a little guy in there, and I guess you can kind of like just fly it around. Not the most exciting of toys for back then, but definitely interesting. And let's move on to, I've got the PDT-8. This was kind of, I don't know if I had another one. I think I've got one of them sitting around somewhere, but I think maybe I forgot to bring it out for this. This was another just kind of random little vehicle. It didn't even come with a cool cockpit like that other one with the round one. And the only real functions it had is that it has these little flaps that would open up in the front and back. It's kind of like, Hasbro's taking liberties. They weren't really thinking too much about playability or whatever else, but they had some cool little, like, you could put, there's like little figure stands in there, so I guess the guys could kind of stand up in there or whatever else, but yeah, random. Who knew what they were thinking when they made that thing? But yeah, just give it a cockpit. That would have been more interesting, I guess. And then moving on from there, I've got two of these. It's cool because I've got the Empire Strikes Back box. The funny thing about these mini rigs too is like some of these boxes, they came with these flaps. So like you set it up like that. It's just kind of like the whole picture. And a lot of moms would kind of ruin the packaging by like, to try to wrap it up for Christmas, and they'd fold the whole thing across. So you'd always see these crazy creases on this edge, and then, here, of course, because try to wrap it up for presents, you'd try to square it off. And yeah, of course, moms back then were a little unawares of, these packages being worth anything later. This thing was kind of cool. I mean, it was like a rolling vehicle, so it would roll, but then you push down, and the wheels kind of pop up like that. So that was kind of cool, or you could like roll your guy along, then you let it go, and then boom, and it would probably kind of launch the guy out the top maybe. But I've got two of those in various conditions. One in the box, one not in the box. And beyond that, we got this one. Actually was one of my more favorite vehicles, because it seemed like kind of one of the more practical, like complete vehicles, because it was essentially like a mini Emperor's shuttle. So yeah, this is like the Emperor's Royal Shuttle. I think it has a top fin that I'll drop down in here. Yeah, so the top fin plugs in. Let's see. Yep, top fin plugs in. Yeah, so it's just the Emperor's little shuttle. And then the wings would fold up. And the cockpit would open, and then Emperor could get out, or his royal guards, or whatever else. But yeah, I always thought this was the more practical of most of the mini rigs to come out. And then, okay, I should have looked this up before I started this, but I forgot to look up the names of these two mini rigs that I have here because I don't have the boxes for these. That's how I'm basically telling you all these names right now. But I don't have the box for this one. But this one was kind of cool. A little cockpit opening and a little function on the back where you could kind of fold in these wings, kind of fold them back down, and it would just sit like so. And then this thing. This was actually a really cool one because I've always liked toys that had suction cups. And this one actually has suction cups on the feet, and it's got the cool dome top. And you put a little guy in there, and you probably stick it to a window or whatever else, and it would just kind of hang there. It's like it was crawling down. So that's a cool feature. Moving on, let's go. Oh yeah, got this box more recently. I had this toy, but I didn't have the box for it. So I recently picked up the box from Dustin at the Star Wars store. He just had an empty box sitting there. I was like, hey, I've got that thing, but I don't have that box. So he hooked me up with the box for a really good price. But this is the thing that's supposed to go in that box. It's the Ewok Catapult. And this kind of had a cool feature and functionality because, you know, you wind the little thing and it kind of brings the arm down and you know, where you would let it go and it would just kind of fling out. I'm not sure how you're supposed to... Maybe there's a button that would kind of let the arm go. Maybe it didn't really have... Oh, okay, so you wind it up one way and then I think if you set it somewhere else, it's supposed to fling it off. But this thing, it came with a cool function where it's like long range or short range. So if you put this little arm up like this, or like this, you know, the rock ball wouldn't go all that crazy far. Ugh. I don't know if I can set on. Yeah, this was never really set on right. So yeah, but you can rotate this thing so you can either go long range or short range. And yeah, I'm gonna have to kind of figure out how this thing was supposed to do the whole release thing, because you can wind it up to make it some lot of resistance, and then yeah, you do something and it flings the thing off into space, and there you go. This thing was cool. I found this in Arizona on a trip a while back, and these things are generally harder to find. And what's cool about this is the top part of the tape was still attached, but the bottom was open. And that's kind of a hard thing to find because generally it's the top that's supposed to open and not the bottom. But this was a cool vehicle, and this is worth a little bit more than some of the other ones because it had Boba Fett on the box. So yeah, essentially anything with Boba Fett on the box usually went for a little bit more because everybody loves Boba Fett. But this is the Desert Sail Skiff. What did I just do with it? Yeah, Desert Sail Skiff, and a lot of people bought this too after the Jabba Sail Barge came out to go with the Jabba Sail Barge. I'm missing a piece. Yep, oh, it's in there. Fortunately, yeah. So, but this thing was pretty cool because yeah, this goes for the way before they had the Jabba Sail Barge. This was kind of one of the only things you could get to recreate the Sarlacc pit scene, and it had these cool little fins that go on here. Let's see if I can get this on without busting it all up. Let's see, this goes on here, this goes on here. Don't bust on me, baby. Yeah, so that on there, and then you move these fins. It actually moves the cockpit, so the guy would probably sit in there. And I think, yeah, there's a foot peg in there, so the figure would move along with it. And then this thing plugs in on the back. And if you have one of the Jabba Sail Barge, you recognize the whole top thing, because that's the same kind of top that the sail barge has, well, except for the sail barge has like a fabric thing, but this is plastic, but still kind of goes along if you have the all the desert skiffs and the barge itself. And yeah, so that was pretty cool find when I got it at the time, because now they're worth a little bit more than when I found it. And another funny one was the Ewok glider. This didn't come in the same box as the rest of them, came in like a more square, flat box. But this is part of kind of the mini rig thing. Ewok glider. He of course would light on that to drop the stones on top of the ATSTs. And lastly, this was actually a really cool find because this is kind of one of the more rare ones to get as well. And this is the Endor Forest Ranger. And this was definitely a bizarre vehicle because this definitely didn't exist in Return of the Jedi. But yeah, it's just got a kind of a cool look to it. Let's see, I remember how to plug these things in. This thing had some guns, and you plug the guns onto the side here. See if I can remember how to stick those in. Yep, goes just like that. And this one goes in over here. And then as you're part of the rebellion, you're going to fight the Emperor in the Endor Forest. This is another cool vehicle, and I'm guessing that it might be supposed to be like kind of a speeder thing or float, because it doesn't seem to have like a wheel feature, and it has these like exhaust ports, or like they're supposed to be like jet ports or whatever it is that they use for the propulsion. But yeah, so this was cool because it kind of, this thing rotates and the cockpit opens, so you can put in your figure and go to attack against the Empire. But yeah, that's all I got for now. Check out later, because I'm going to start going into the other vintage vehicles, like the bigger ones. Y-Wing, A-Wing, Imperial Shuttle, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, talk to you soon, and make sure to wait and watch for the 50,000 member Baby Yoda fan page giveaway, because I'm giving away Baby Yoda stuff. And I might have even enough now that I'm going to do probably... I was going to do originally five prizes, but I think I might move it up to 7 prizes. So watch out for that, and I'll talk to you soon.